Your mind is the most sophisticated processing system ever created. Every second, billions of neurons fire in intricate patterns, creating thoughts, memories, decisions, and insights. But here's the paradox. Most people never learn to truly harness this incredible power. They drift through life using only a fraction of their cognitive potential, never realizing that mental agility isn't a fixed trait you're born with. It's a skill you can develop, refine, and master. Mental agility is the art of thinking faster, smarter, and stronger. It's the ability to shift perspectives rapidly, process complex information efficiently, and generate creative solutions under pressure. It's what separates those who merely react to life from those who actively shape it. In the next hour, we're going to explore the deepest principles, techniques, and frameworks that will transform how your mind operates. The human brain weighs approximately 3 pounds, yet it consumes 20% of your body's energy. This biological supercomputer contains roughly 86 billion neurons, each capable of forming thousands of connections. The potential combinations of neural pathways exceed the number of atoms in the known universe. Think about that for a moment. The complexity residing inside your skull surpasses anything we can observe in the cosmos. Yet most people treat their minds like forgotten tools, never sharpening them, never training them, never pushing them to new heights. Mental agility begins with understanding a fundamental truth. Your brain is plastic, neuroplasticity. The brain's ability to reorganize itself by forming new neural connections throughout life means you're never stuck with the cognitive abilities you have today. Every thought you think, every skill you practice, every challenge you overcome literally reshapes the physical structure of your brain. This isn't motivational rhetoric, it's neuroscience. When you engage in deliberate mental training, you're not just changing your thoughts, you're changing your brain's architecture. The first dimension of mental agility is speed. Cognitive processing speed determines how quickly you can take in information, understand it, and formulate a response. Some people assume fast thinking is simply a genetic gift, but research reveals otherwise. Processing speed can be dramatically improved through specific training protocols. The key lies in understanding what slows cognition down and systematically removing those barriers. Mental friction is the enemy of speed. Friction occurs when your brain encounters uncertainty, conflicting information, or familiar patterns that trigger automatic but inefficient responses. Consider how you read. Most people subvocalize. They silently pronounce words in their mind as they read. This limits reading speed to speaking speed, typically around 200 to 300 words per minute. But your brain can process visual information far faster than speech. By eliminating subvocalization and training your visual cortex to recognize word patterns directly, you can read thousands of words per minute without sacrificing comprehension. This principle extends far beyond reading. In every domain of thinking, identify the bottlenecks, the unnecessary steps, the habitual slowdowns, and engineer them out of your cognitive process. Pattern recognition is the foundation of rapid thinking. Your brain is fundamentally a pattern-matching machine. When you encounter a situation, your mind instantly searches its vast database of experiences, looking for similar patterns. The more patterns you've internalized, the faster you can make sense of new information. This is why experts in any field seem to think effortlessly about complex problems that baffle novices. A chess grandmaster doesn't analyze every possible move through brute computation. They recognize patterns on the board, chunks of information they've seen thousands of times before. Each pattern triggers associated strategies, evaluations, and responses. The board that appears as chaos to a beginner reveals itself as meaningful structures to the master. You can accelerate your pattern recognition by deliberately exposing yourself to diverse experiences and information. The mind builds patterns through repetition and variation. Study widely, practice intensely, seek out edge cases and anomalies. Every unique situation your brain processes becomes part of its pattern library, available for instant recall when needed. The person who has seen 100 variations of a problem will think faster than someone who has seen only 10. Mental models are compressed patterns, frameworks that allow you to quickly understand and navigate complex domains. A mental model is like a map of reality. It doesn't capture every detail, but it highlights the most important features and relationships. Someone with a rich collection of mental models can rapidly orient themselves in unfamiliar territory, asking better questions and generating better hypotheses than someone working from first principles every time. Build your mental model library systematically. Study the fundamental concepts from multiple disciplines: physics, biology, economics, psychology, mathematics, philosophy. Each field offers powerful frameworks for understanding reality. When you accumulate mental models across domains, you develop the ability to see connections others miss, to approach problems from multiple angles simultaneously, to think in higher dimensions. Decision-making speed separates the agile mind from the paralyzed one. Many intelligent people suffer from analysis paralysis. They gather endless information, consider countless variables, and still struggle to commit to a choice. Mental agility requires the wisdom to know when you have enough information to decide. This doesn't mean being reckless or impulsive. It means understanding that most decisions are reversible, that perfect information is never available, and that the cost of delayed decision often exceeds the cost of an imperfect choice. Develop decision frameworks that allow you to act quickly while minimizing risk. For low-stakes decisions, impose time limits: 30 seconds, 60 seconds, forcing your intuition to engage rather than your analytical paralysis. For high-stakes decisions, use structured processes, define your criteria, weight them by importance, evaluate options systematically, then commit. The framework provides speed without sacrificing quality. The second dimension of mental agility is intelligence. Not the fixed IQ score from a standardized test, but fluid intelligence. The capacity to reason, solve novel problems, and see underlying patterns. Fluid intelligence is what allows you to navigate unfamiliar situations, to think creatively, to make connections between seemingly unrelated concepts. Unlike crystallized intelligence, which represents accumulated knowledge, fluid intelligence is your raw cognitive horsepower. And contrary to old assumptions, fluid intelligence can be enhanced through training. Working memory is the foundation of fluid intelligence. This is your mental workspace, the cognitive scratchpad, where you hold and manipulate information. When you solve a problem that requires keeping multiple pieces of information active simultaneously while transforming them, you're using working memory. The capacity of working memory varies between individuals, but it's not fixed. Dual N-back training, a specific cognitive exercise, has been shown to increase working memory capacity and fluid intelligence. The exercise requires you to track two streams of information simultaneously, visual positions and auditory letters, and identify when either stream matches what you encountered several steps back. It's mentally demanding, almost uncomfortable, which is exactly why it works. The brain adapts to challenge. When you push your working memory to its limits repeatedly, you expand those limits. Abstract thinking is another pillar of intelligence. This is the ability to extract underlying principles from specific examples, to think in categories and concepts rather than concrete instances. Abstract thinking allows you to transfer knowledge from one domain to another, to see the common structure beneath different surface forms. You can develop abstract thinking through deliberate practice. When you learn something new, always ask, what is this really about? What's the deeper principle? How is this similar to other things I know? What category does this belong to? Force yourself to articulate the abstract pattern. Write it down. Test whether it applies in different contexts. This metacognitive work, thinking about thinking, strengthens your capacity for abstraction. Systems thinking is intelligence applied to complexity. Most problems we face today aren't simple cause and effect chains. They're systems with feedback loops, delayed effects, emergent properties, and non-obvious relationships. Linear thinking fails spectacularly in complex systems. You need to think in circles, in networks, in dynamic patterns. A systems thinker can hold multiple variables in mind simultaneously, trace how changes propagate through the system, anticipate second and third order effects. To develop systems thinking, study actual systems, ecosystems, map them out. Identify the key components and relationships. Track feedback loops, both reinforcing and balancing. Look for leverage points where small interventions create large effects. The more systems you study, the better you become at seeing any situation as a system. Creative intelligence is the ability to generate novel and useful ideas. Creativity isn't a mystical gift bestowed on artists and geniuses. It's a cognitive skill that follows identifiable patterns. At its core, creativity is combinatorial. New ideas emerge when you connect existing concepts in new ways. Steve Jobs famously said that creativity is just connecting things. The more diverse your knowledge base, the more potential combinations you can generate. This is why studying broadly across disciplines enhances creativity. You're not just accumulating isolated facts. You're collecting building blocks that your mind can combine in unexpected ways. Constraint breeds creativity. When resources are unlimited and options are infinite, the mind becomes paralyzed. But when you impose constraints, time limits, resource restrictions, specific requirements, you force your brain into creative problem-solving mode. The constraint focuses your attention, eliminating infinite possibilities and channeling your mental energy into exploring a defined space more deeply. Many of history's greatest innovations emerged from severe constraints. Apollo 13's engineers had to solve unprecedented problems, using only the materials available on the spacecraft. The constraints didn't inhibit creativity, they catalyzed it. The third dimension of mental agility is strength, the ability to sustain deep focus, to resist distraction, to maintain cognitive performance under stress, and to think clearly when emotions run high. Mental strength is the difference between knowing what to do and actually doing it, between having good ideas and executing them despite obstacles. Attention is the foundation of mental strength. Your attention is your most valuable cognitive resource. Whatever receives your attention gets processed, remembered, and integrated into your understanding. Whatever doesn't receive attention might as well not exist for your brain. In today's world, attention has become the scarcest resource. We're bombarded with stimuli designed by teams of engineers to capture and hold our attention. Every notification, every feed, every auto-playing video is optimized to hijack your focus. Developing attention control is no longer optional. It's essential for cognitive survival. Focused attention is the ability to concentrate on a single target while filtering out distractions. This is the state you need for deep work, for complex problem solving, for learning difficult material. Focused attention is like a muscle. It fatigues with use but grows stronger with training. Meditation is the most direct method for building attention strength. When you sit and focus on your breath, inevitably your mind wanders. You notice the wandering and return to the breath. This simple cycle, focus, notice distraction, return, is attention training at its purest. Every repetition strengthens your ability to maintain and redirect focus. You don't need to become a meditation master. Even 10 minutes daily of focused attention practice produces measurable improvements in cognitive control. Divided attention is the capacity to monitor multiple streams of information simultaneously. This is different from multitasking, which is largely a myth. The brain doesn't truly process multiple complex tasks at once. It switches rapidly between them, incurring a switching cost each time. But divided attention, maintaining broad awareness while focusing on a primary task, is a real and valuable skill. A fighter pilot must focus on flying while monitoring instruments, communications, and tactical situation. A surgeon must focus on the procedure while aware of patient vitals and team activities. Divided attention can be trained through activities that require maintaining peripheral awareness while focusing centrally. Sports, music performance, and complex coordination tasks all develop this capacity. Cognitive endurance determines how long you can maintain peak mental performance. Just as physical endurance allows athletes to maintain effort over time, cognitive endurance allows you to think clearly through extended periods of mental work. Many people experience significant cognitive decline after just a few hours of demanding mental work. Their thinking becomes fuzzy, their decisions impulsive, their focus scattered. This isn't inevitable. Cognitive endurance responds to training. The principle is the same as physical endurance. Progressively increase the duration of mental effort. If you can currently sustain deep focus for 30 minutes before experiencing significant fatigue, structure your training to gradually extend that window. 45 minutes, then 60, then 90. Allow adequate recovery between sessions. Over time, your capacity for sustained cognitive effort expands dramatically. Stress is the ultimate test of mental strength. Under pressure, cognitive performance typically degrades. Working memory capacity shrinks. Attention narrows. Complex thinking gives way to simple, often suboptimal responses. But some individuals maintain or even enhance their performance under stress. What distinguishes them? The answer lies in how they interpret and respond to stress. Stress isn't fundamentally bad for cognition. The physiological stress response, increased heart rate, heightened alertness, mobilized energy, can actually enhance performance if you view it correctly. Research shows that your mindset about stress determines its effects. If you view stress as debilitating, your performance suffers. If you view stress as enhancing, providing the energy and focus you need, your performance improves. This isn't positive thinking nonsense. It's about recognizing that arousal and anxiety are physiologically similar states, distinguished primarily by your interpretation. Train yourself to reframe stress as excitement, as your body preparing you for peak performance. Emotional regulation is inseparable from mental strength. Emotions aren't the opposite of rational thinking, they're integral to it. Neuroscience research has shown that people with damage to emotional processing regions make terrible decisions despite having intact logical reasoning. Emotions provide crucial information and motivation, but unregulated emotions can hijack cognition, triggering impulsive responses and clouding judgment. The key is neither suppressing emotions nor being controlled by them, but developing emotional awareness and regulation. Notice what you're feeling without immediately reacting. Name the emotion. This simple act of labeling activates prefrontal regions that help regulate emotional response. Ask what the emotion is telling you. Fear might be highlighting a real risk you should address. Anger might be pointing to a violated value or boundary. Use the information, but don't let the emotion dictate your response. Create space between feeling and action. In that space lies choice, lies agency, lies mental strength. Recovery is as important as exertion in building mental strength. Your brain isn't designed for continuous high-intensity cognitive work. It requires periods of rest and recovery to consolidate learning, clear metabolic waste, and restore energy reserves. Sleep is the most crucial recovery period. During sleep, your brain replays and consolidates experiences, strengthens important neural connections, and prunes unnecessary ones. Chronic sleep deprivation devastates cognitive performance across every dimension: speed, accuracy, creativity, emotional regulation, decision quality. There's no workaround, no substitute. If you want a high-performance mind, you must prioritize sleep. Beyond sleep, incorporate deliberate rest periods into your day, even brief breaks. 5 to 10 minutes of mental disengagement allow cognitive recovery. Walk, stare out a window, practice breathing exercises. These aren't wasted time, they're essential maintenance for a high-performance cognitive system. Now we come to the integration of speed, intelligence, and strength into genuine mental agility. True mental agility isn't just having these capacities in isolation, it's being able to deploy them flexibly, depending on what the situation demands. The agile mind shifts gears effortlessly. It can slow down for careful analysis or speed up for rapid response. It can zoom in for details or zoom out for big picture. It can maintain steady focus or rapidly shift attention. This flexibility is the hallmark of mastery. Metacognition is the master skill that enables cognitive flexibility. Metacognition means thinking about thinking, observing your own cognitive processes as they happen. It's the ability to step back and ask, how am I approaching this problem? Is this thinking strategy working? What assumptions am I making? What alternative approaches might work better? Most people are completely absorbed in their thinking, never questioning the quality of their cognitive process. The metacognitive thinker maintains a dual awareness, engaged in thinking while simultaneously observing that thinking. This might sound complicated or distracting, but with practice it becomes natural. Start by conducting post-mortems on your thinking. After solving a problem or making a decision, reflect on your process. What worked well? What didn't? What would you do differently next time? This reflective practice gradually develops the capacity for real-time metacognition. Cognitive biases are systematic errors in thinking that arise from the brain's reliance on heuristics, mental shortcuts that usually work, but sometimes fail spectacularly. Confirmation bias leads us to favor information that supports our existing beliefs. Availability bias causes us to overweight information that's easily recalled. Anchoring bias makes us too dependent on the first piece of information we encounter. The list goes on. Researchers have identified dozens of cognitive biases. The agile mind isn't bias-free. That's impossible because biases are built into how brains process information. But the agile mind is bias-aware. It knows when biases are likely to distort thinking and implements strategies to counteract them. For important decisions, deliberately seek disconfirming evidence. Actively look for information that contradicts your hypothesis. Consult people who disagree with you. Use decision frameworks that force you to consider multiple perspectives. These practices don't eliminate bias, but they reduce its influence significantly. Perspective shifting is the ability to view a situation from multiple angles. Most people have a default perspective, their own subjective experience, and struggle to genuinely adopt alternative viewpoints. This limits problem solving and creates interpersonal friction. The agile mind can fluidly shift perspectives. It can think like a customer, then like a competitor, Then, like a regulator, it can consider a decision from the perspective of immediate consequences, then long-term impacts, then systemic effects. Each perspective reveals different features of reality, different opportunities and risks. You develop this capacity through deliberate practice. When facing a problem, force yourself to articulate it from at least 3 different perspectives. Write them down. Make the perspective shift explicit and concrete. Over time, perspective shifting becomes more natural and rapid. Learning agility is the ultimate expression of mental flexibility. This is the ability to learn quickly in new situations, to extract principles from experience and apply them to novel contexts. Some people have extensive experience but limited learning. They've repeated the same year of experience 30 times. Others extract rich lessons from every experience, constantly expanding their capabilities. Learning agility requires a growth mindset, the belief that abilities can be developed through effort. Carol Dweck's research has shown that mindset profoundly affects learning outcomes. People with fixed mindsets avoid challenges that might reveal limitations. They interpret difficulty as evidence of inadequacy. People with growth mindsets seek challenges as opportunities to develop. They interpret difficulty as a natural part of learning. The mindset you adopt creates a self-fulfilling prophecy. Believe you can improve, act accordingly, and you will improve. Believe your abilities are fixed, avoid challenges, and your abilities will stagnate. Deliberate practice is the engine of skill development. Not all practice creates equal improvement. Mindless repetition produces minimal gains. Deliberate practice is structured, focused practice specifically designed to improve performance. It has several key characteristics. First, it focuses on skills just beyond your current capability, in what's called the learning zone. Too easy, and there's no growth. Too hard, and you become frustrated and discouraged. Just beyond your current ability is where growth happens. Second, deliberate practice requires full attention. You can't improve while distracted or on autopilot. Third, it incorporates immediate feedback. You need to know what's working and what's not in order to adjust. Fourth, it involves repetition and refinement. You don't just try something once, you iterate, incorporating feedback with each repetition. Apply these principles to cognitive skills. Want to improve your analytical thinking? Don't just think about problems at your current level. Systematically work on slightly harder problems that push your analytical capacity. Get feedback on your reasoning. Repeat with refinements. Over time, your analytical capacity expands. Transfer of learning is the holy grail of education and skill development. Transfer occurs when learning in one context enhances performance in a different context. Near transfer happens between similar contexts. Practicing free throws improves free throw shooting in games. Far transfer happens between seemingly unrelated domains. Studying chess improves mathematical reasoning. Far transfer is rare and difficult, but not impossible. The key is learning principles rather than specific procedures, understanding the deep structure rather than surface features. When you learn something, always push toward abstraction. What's the general principle? Where else does this apply? What's the common pattern? This mental work creates learning that transfers more broadly. The environment shapes cognition more than most people realize. You're not a brain in a vat, thinking in isolation. You're an embodied mind embedded in physical and social environments that profoundly influence how you think. Understanding and optimizing these environmental factors is crucial for mental agility. Cognitive load theory explains that working memory has limited capacity. When that capacity is consumed by irrelevant information or poor design, less is available for the task at hand. This is why a cluttered desk or noisy environment impairs thinking. They impose cognitive load that reduces your available mental resources. Design your physical environment to minimize cognitive load. Remove distractions. Organize your workspace. Use ambient sound or silence, depending on what works for your nervous system. These aren't minor conveniences. They're performance optimizations that free up cognitive capacity for demanding mental work. Embodied cognition research has revealed that thinking isn't confined to the brain. Your body and physical actions influence cognitive processes in surprising ways. Movement affects thinking. Studies show that walking boosts creative thinking. Physical gestures enhance learning and memory. Even subtle factors like sitting versus standing alter cognitive state. When you're stuck on a problem, stand up and move. The change in physical state often triggers a change in mental state. Use your hands when explaining complex ideas to yourself. The gestures aren't just expression, they're part of the thinking process itself. Social cognition recognizes that our minds are fundamentally social. We think better in certain social contexts and worse in others. The mere presence of others can either enhance or impair cognitive performance depending on the task and the social dynamic. For well-learned tasks, the presence of others typically enhances performance through social facilitation. For novel or complex tasks, others' presence can create performance pressure that impairs thinking. Understanding these dynamics allows you to structure your social environment strategically. When learning something new or tackling a difficult problem, work alone or with trusted collaborators who create psychological safety. When executing well-rehearsed skills or needing motivation, harness social facilitation by working in the presence of others. Collective intelligence emerges when groups think together effectively. Under the right conditions, groups can solve problems and generate insights that no individual member could produce alone. But groups can also think poorly, falling prey to groupthink, social loafing, and cascade effects, where early opinions inappropriately influence everyone else. The agile mind knows how to think well, both individually and collectively. In group settings, several practices enhance collective intelligence. Ensure psychological safety, so people feel comfortable sharing unconventional ideas and respectfully disagreeing. Structure discussion to hear from everyone, not just the loudest voices. Separate idea generation from evaluation. Brainstorming works better when you first generate many ideas without judgment, then evaluate them separately. Assign someone to play devil's advocate, deliberately challenging the group's emerging consensus. These simple practices dramatically improve group thinking. The digital age presents unique challenges and opportunities for mental agility. On one hand, we have unprecedented access to information and powerful cognitive tools. On the other hand, we face unprecedented cognitive demands and distractions. Digital technology is neither inherently good nor bad for cognition. It depends entirely on how you use it. Used well, technology amplifies cognitive capability. Used poorly, it fragments attention and shallows thinking. The agile mind develops a strategic relationship with technology. It uses digital tools deliberately rather than reactively. It batches information consumption rather than constantly monitoring feeds. It leverages technology's strengths, vast memory, rapid calculation, pattern recognition, while maintaining human strengths like creativity, wisdom, and ethical judgment. Information curation is a critical skill in the digital age. You cannot read, watch, or listen to everything. You must develop filters and systems for identifying high-value information and ignoring noise. Distinguish between information and knowledge. Information is abundant and often low value. Knowledge is synthesized, integrated, actionable understanding. Don't just consume more information, transform information into knowledge through reflection and application. Build a personal knowledge management system. This might be a digital tool like Notion or Roam Research, or an analog system like a notebook. The specific medium matters less than the practice of actively processing information rather than passively consuming it. When you read something valuable, don't just highlight it. Write about it in your own words. Connect it to other things you know. Generate questions it raises. This active processing transforms information into knowledge that's truly yours. Attention management is perhaps the most important skill for thriving in the digital age. The default pattern, reactive, distraction-driven context switching, is devastating for deep thinking and meaningful work. You must deliberately design your attention architecture. Create extended blocks of protected time for deep work. During these blocks, eliminate all distractions. Turn off notifications. Close browsers. Put your phone in another room. This might feel extreme, but it's necessary. Your attention is under constant assault. You need defensive structures to protect it. Create separate contexts for different types of work. If possible, use different physical locations or at least different devices for focused work versus communication and browsing. These environmental cues help your brain shift into the appropriate cognitive mode. The concept of cognitive prosthetics recognizes that tools don't just help us think, they change how we think. Writing extended our memory beyond our brain's limitations. Mathematics gave us new ways to represent and manipulate relationships. Computers provide vast storage and processing power. But each tool also shapes our cognition in subtle ways. Relying too heavily on GPS navigation may impair our natural spatial cognition. Outsourcing all arithmetic to calculators may weaken our number sense. This doesn't mean rejecting tools. It means using them strategically while maintaining core cognitive capacities. Don't let your tools atrophy your thinking. Use them to amplify, not replace, your cognitive abilities. Artificial intelligence is rapidly transforming the cognitive landscape. AI systems can now perform many tasks that previously required human intelligence, translating languages, recognizing images, playing complex games at superhuman levels. This raises urgent questions about the future of human cognition. If machines can think in many domains, what remains uniquely human? The answer lies in mental agility itself. AI systems excel at narrowly defined tasks with clear parameters. They struggle with ambiguity, context shifting, and open-ended problems that require drawing on diverse knowledge. They lack genuine understanding, creativity, and wisdom. The agile human mind remains superior at integrating information across domains, thinking about thinking, setting goals based on values, and navigating novel situations. As AI handles more routine cognitive tasks, human comparative advantage increasingly lies in precisely those capacities we've been discussing: flexible thinking, creative problem-solving, metacognition, and wise judgment. Wisdom is the highest expression of mental agility. Intelligence gets you to multiple solutions. Wisdom helps you choose the right one. Speed allows rapid response. Wisdom determines whether you should respond at all. Strength enables sustained effort. Wisdom ensures that effort is directed toward worthy ends. Wisdom integrates knowledge, experience, and values to make sound judgments, especially in complex situations with no clear right answer. Wisdom develops slowly, through experience, reflection, and often through failure and adversity. You cannot rush wisdom, but you can cultivate it. Seek diverse experiences. Reflect deeply on your experiences. Study history and literature to learn from others' experiences. Develop a coherent value system that guides your choices. Hold your beliefs firmly, but humbly, recognizing that you might be wrong. This combination of conviction and humility is characteristic of wisdom. Now let's explore specific techniques and protocols for developing each dimension of mental agility. These are concrete practices you can implement immediately to begin transforming your cognitive capabilities. For processing speed, implement speed reading. Training, start with a baseline test of your current reading speed with comprehension. Most untrained readers average around 200 to 250 words per minute. Begin eliminating subvocalization by using a visual pacer, your finger, or a pen moving under the text. Force your eyes to follow the pacer at a pace slightly faster than comfortable. This breaks the subvocalization habit and trains your visual processing. Practice expanding your visual span, the number of words you can perceive in a single fixation. Start with 3 to 4 words and gradually increase. Use apps or software designed for speed reading training. With consistent practice, most people can double their reading speed within weeks while maintaining comprehension. For pattern recognition, practice the chunking technique. Take complex information and organize it into meaningful chunks. A random string of numbers is hard to remember, but chunked into meaningful groups, phone numbers, dates, familiar sequences, it becomes manageable. Apply this to any domain you want to master. Chess players chunk board positions, programmers chunk code patterns, musicians chunk musical phrases. Deliberately study patterns in your field. Create a pattern library. When you encounter a new situation, actively compare it to patterns you know. This conscious practice gradually becomes automatic expert pattern recognition. For building mental models, implement the Feynman technique, named after physicist Richard Feynman. This technique forces clear understanding. Choose a concept you want to learn. Write an explanation as if teaching it to someone with no background knowledge. Use simple language, no jargon. When you get stuck or have to use technical terms you can't explain, you've found a gap in your understanding. Go back to the source material and fill that gap. Then simplify your explanation further. This process reveals the difference between knowing the name of something and actually understanding it. The mental models you build through this rigorous process are far more robust and useful than superficial knowledge. For decision-making speed, use the 10-10-10 framework for appropriate decisions. Ask yourself, how will I feel about this decision in 10 minutes, 10 months, 10 years? This quick framework provides temporal perspective, helping you avoid both impulsive choices driven by immediate emotion and paralysis from overanalysis. For low-stakes decisions, it clarifies that the choice won't matter much in the long run, making it easier to decide quickly. For high-stakes decisions, it highlights what will matter long-term, cutting through short-term noise. For working memory enhancement, beyond dual N-back training, practice mental mathematics. Calculate tips, split bills, estimate costs, all without a calculator. Hold the numbers in your head and manipulate them mentally. This constant working memory workout strengthens your capacity. Start with simple calculations and progressively increase complexity. Another powerful technique is visualization practice. Imagine a complex scene, a room, a landscape, a mechanism. Hold it in your mind's eye and manipulate it. Rotate it, zoom in on details, change colors or positions. This spatial working memory training transfers to other cognitive domains. For abstract thinking development, practice the ladder of abstraction technique. Start with a concrete example. Move up the ladder by asking, what category does this belong to? What's the principle here? Keep abstracting until you reach fundamental concepts. Then move back down by asking, what are other examples of this principle? How does this manifest differently in other contexts? This up and down movement strengthens your ability to navigate between concrete and abstract levels. When reading, don't just absorb information, constantly ask, what's this really about? What's the general principle? This active abstraction practice transforms your thinking. For systems thinking, create causal loop diagrams. Take a situation you want to understand. Identify the key variables. Draw arrows showing causal relationships. Mark whether each relationship is positive. More of A leads to more of B, or negative, more of A leads to less of B. Identify feedback loops, where effects circle back to causes. This visual mapping reveals system structure that's invisible in linear analysis. Start with simple systems and progressively tackle more complex ones. The practice of systems mapping develops your ability to see systems even without formally diagramming them. For creative thinking, implement the SCAMPER technique. SCAMPER is an acronym for creative prompts. Substitute, what could you replace? Combine, what could you merge? Adapt, what could you adjust? Modify, what could you change? Put to another use. How else could this be used? Eliminate, what could you remove? Reverse, what could you do backwards? Apply these prompts systematically to any problem or product. They force your mind out of conventional paths into creative territory. Another powerful creativity technique is constraint-based creativity. When facing a challenge, add an arbitrary constraint. Design a product that must be made from only 3 materials. Solve a problem without using the obvious solution. Write a story without using a common letter. Constraints force creative workarounds that often lead to genuinely novel solutions. For attention training. Beyond basic meditation, practice the Pomodoro technique. Work in focused 25-minute blocks, followed by 5-minute breaks. During work blocks, maintain single-pointed focus on one task. During breaks, completely disengage. This structured interval training builds attention endurance while preventing mental fatigue. Track your focused blocks. Over time, you'll notice your capacity for sustained focus increases. Another attention exercise is the mindful observation practice. Choose an object, a stone, a fruit, a cloud. Observe it with full attention for 5 minutes. Notice every detail. When your mind wanders, gently return to observation. This simple practice profoundly strengthens attention control. For cognitive endurance, implement progressive overload. If you can currently sustain deep focus for 30 minutes, schedule sessions that push to 40 minutes. When that becomes comfortable, extend to 50, then 60. Allow adequate recovery. Don't do maximum duration sessions back to back. Just as physical training requires rest days, cognitive training requires recovery periods. Nutrition also affects cognitive endurance significantly. Stable blood glucose supports sustained mental performance. Avoid sugar spikes and crashes. Eat balanced meals with protein, healthy fats, and complex carbohydrates. Stay hydrated. Even mild dehydration impairs cognitive performance. For stress management, practice physiological reframing. When you feel stress symptoms, increased heart rate, tension, alertness, instead of thinking I'm anxious, tell yourself my body is preparing me for peak performance. This isn't denial. The physiological arousal is identical whether you interpret it as anxiety or excitement. Your interpretation determines whether it helps or hinders performance. Another powerful technique is box breathing. Breathe in for 4 counts, hold for 4, exhale for 4, hold for 4. Repeat for several minutes. This regulates your nervous system, shifting you out of fight or flight and into a calmer, more focused state. Use this before high-pressure situations to optimize your stress response. For emotional regulation, implement the RAIN technique. Recognize what you're feeling. Allow the feeling to be there without suppressing or acting on it. Investigate the feeling with curiosity. Where do you feel it in your body? What triggered it? What is it telling you? Non-identification. Recognize that you're not the emotion. You're the awareness, observing the emotion. This creates space between emotion and response, enabling wise action rather than reactive impulse. Practice this technique during low-stakes emotional moments to build the capacity you can access during high-stakes situations. For metacognitive development, keep a thinking journal. After significant decisions or problem-solving efforts, write about your process. What approach did you take? What worked well? What would you do differently? What assumptions did you make? Were they valid? This regular reflection builds metacognitive awareness. Another technique is the pre-mortem. Before implementing a decision, imagine it's failed spectacularly. What went wrong? This imaginative exercise reveals potential problems and faulty assumptions you might otherwise miss. It's metacognition applied to future thinking. For bias awareness, learn the major cognitive biases and implement checks. Before important decisions, ask yourself, am I falling for confirmation bias by only seeking supporting evidence? Am I anchoring too heavily on initial information? Is the availability of dramatic examples distorting my risk assessment? These simple questions activate metacognitive monitoring that catches biases in action. Another powerful technique is to actively seek disagreement. Find someone you trust who disagrees with your position. Ask them to articulate their best case. Listen without defensive response. This exposure to alternative viewpoints counteracts many biases. For perspective shifting, practice the 6 thinking hats technique. Developed by Edward de Bono, this method explicitly assigns different thinking perspectives. White hat focuses on facts and information. Red hat on emotions and intuition. Black hat on risks and problems. Yellow hat on benefits and optimism. Green hat on creativity and alternatives. Blue hat on process and organization. When analyzing a situation, systematically adopt each hat. Force yourself to think from that perspective for several minutes before switching. This structured approach ensures you consider multiple viewpoints rather than defaulting to your habitual perspective. Over time, perspective shifting becomes more fluid and natural. For learning agility, implement the explanation effect. After learning something new, explain it to someone else or write an explanation. The act of teaching forces you to organize knowledge, identify gaps, and deepen understanding. If you can't explain something clearly, you don't truly understand it yet. This feedback loop accelerates learning dramatically. Another technique is interleaving practice. Instead of blocking practice, doing many repetitions of one thing before moving to another, mix different skills or topics within a practice session. This feels harder and less fluent, but it produces superior long-term learning and transfer. Your brain learns to discriminate between different problems and select appropriate strategies, building genuine competence rather than superficial familiarity. The neuroscience of mental agility reveals that specific brain regions and networks underlie cognitive flexibility. The prefrontal cortex, particularly the dorsolateral prefrontal cortex, is crucial for working memory, planning, and cognitive control. The anterior cingulate cortex monitors for conflicts and signals when cognitive adjustments are needed. The parietal cortex integrates information and directs attention. These regions don't work in isolation. They function as networks. The frontoparietal control network enables flexible attention and task switching. The default mode network activates during mind-wandering and internal thought. The salience network detects important stimuli and switches between networks. Mental agility emerges from the coordinated activity of these networks and the ability to flexibly engage and disengage them as situations demand. Neuroplasticity operates through several mechanisms. Synaptic plasticity involves strengthening or weakening connections between neurons based on activity. Neurons that fire together wire together. Neurogenesis, the creation of new neurons, continues in certain brain regions throughout life, particularly in the hippocampus, which is crucial for learning and memory. Myelination, the insulation of neural pathways, makes signal transmission faster and more efficient. Experience-dependent plasticity means your daily activities literally shape your brain structure. The taxi drivers of London, who must memorize complex city layouts, show enlarged hippocampi. Musicians show enhanced development in motor and auditory regions. Every skill you practice strengthens associated neural pathways. This isn't metaphorical, it's physical restructuring of brain tissue. The plasticity principle has profound implications. It means you're not trapped by your current cognitive abilities or patterns. It also means that neglect leads to decline. Use it or lose it applies to neural pathways. The brain regions and connections you don't use atrophy over time. This is why continuous learning and challenge are essential for maintaining cognitive vitality. The aging brain retains significant plasticity, though the rate of change slows compared to youth, but decline is not inevitable. Older adults who remain cognitively active maintain mental sharpness far beyond those who become cognitively passive. The brain adapts throughout life to whatever demands you place on it. Critical periods in development represent windows of heightened plasticity. Language acquisition is dramatically easier in childhood. Perfect pitch is almost exclusively developed in early years. But critical periods don't mean that learning is impossible outside them, only that it requires more effort and may not achieve the same level of fluency. Adult brains can learn new languages, develop musical skills, acquire athletic abilities. It takes more deliberate practice and explicit instruction than the effortless absorption of childhood. But neuroplasticity enables adult learning across domains. Don't let the myth of critical periods excuse cognitive stagnation. Your brain remains plastic and capable of change. Sleep's role in cognitive performance cannot be overstated. During sleep, multiple crucial processes occur. Memory consolidation transfers information from temporary storage in the hippocampus to long-term storage in the cortex. Sleep strengthens important connections and prunes unnecessary ones. Optimizing neural networks. The glymphatic system, active during sleep, clears metabolic waste from the brain, including proteins associated with neurodegeneration. REM sleep particularly supports emotional regulation and creative problem-solving. Deep sleep supports memory consolidation and physical restoration. Both stages are essential. When sleep is disrupted or insufficient, all cognitive functions suffer. Attention wavers, working memory shrinks, emotional regulation falters, learning impairment occurs, decision-making degrades. The modern world systematically undermines sleep. Artificial light disrupts circadian rhythms. Screens emit blue light that suppresses melatonin. Caffeine remains in your system for hours. Stress and anxiety activate arousal systems incompatible with sleep. You must actively defend your sleep against these factors. Establish a consistent sleep schedule, even on weekends. Dim lights in the evening. Avoid screens for an hour before bed, or use blue light filters. Create a cool, dark, quiet sleep environment. Limit caffeine to morning hours. Develop a wind-down routine that signals to your body that sleep is approaching. These practices aren't luxuries. They're essential investments in cognitive performance. Nutrition profoundly influences brain function. Your brain consumes 20% of your energy, despite being only 2% of your body weight. It requires constant fuel, preferably in the form of stable glucose. It also needs specific nutrients, omega-3 fatty acids for neural membranes, antioxidants to protect against oxidative stress, B vitamins for neurotransmitter synthesis, minerals like zinc and magnesium for countless neural processes. A diet rich in vegetables, fruits, whole grains, fish, nuts, and seeds provides comprehensive brain nutrition. A diet dominated by processed foods, sugar, and unhealthy fats undermines cognitive performance. The effects aren't always immediate or obvious, but they accumulate over time, influencing everything from mood to memory to mental clarity. Hydration affects cognition more than most people realize. The brain is approximately 75% water. Even mild dehydration, as little as 1 to 2% loss of body water, impairs cognitive performance. Attention suffers, memory falters, mood deteriorates. Yet many people live in a state of chronic mild dehydration, never connecting their mental fog to inadequate water intake. The solution is simple: drink water throughout the day. Don't wait until you're thirsty. Thirst indicates you're already somewhat dehydrated. Monitor your hydration through urine color. Pale yellow indicates good hydration. Darker yellow suggests you need more water. This simple practice can noticeably improve mental clarity. Exercise is perhaps the most powerful single intervention for brain health and cognitive performance. Physical activity increases blood flow to the brain, delivering more oxygen and nutrients. It triggers release of brain-derived neurotrophic factor, a protein that supports the growth of new neurons and connections. It enhances neuroplasticity. It improves mood and reduces stress through multiple pathways. Research consistently shows that regular exercisers outperform sedentary individuals on cognitive tests across multiple domains: memory, attention, processing speed, executive function. Both aerobic exercise and strength training provide cognitive benefits. You don't need to become an athlete. Even moderate exercise, 30 minutes of brisk walking most days, produces significant cognitive enhancement. Movement is medicine for the mind. The relationship between body and mind runs deeper than most people realize. Embodied cognition research reveals that cognitive processes are grounded in bodily experience. Abstract concepts are understood through physical metaphors. We speak of warm personalities, heavy problems, bright ideas. These aren't arbitrary linguistic conventions. They reflect how our brains construct meaning from bodily experience. This has practical implications. Physical actions influence thinking. Standing in a powerful posture for 2 minutes increases confidence and risk tolerance. Smiling activates positive emotions, the facial feedback hypothesis. Cold temperatures make people judge others as less warm interpersonally. These effects are subtle but real. You can leverage them strategically. Before a challenging situation, adopt confident body language. When you need creative thinking, move around rather than sitting still. When you need careful analytical thinking, create physical stillness. The social dimension of cognition extends beyond direct interaction. Cultural frameworks shape how we think in profound ways. Different cultures emphasize different cognitive styles. Western cultures tend toward analytic thinking, breaking things into components, focusing on individual objects, using formal logic. East Asian cultures tend toward holistic thinking, understanding relationships and contexts, seeing integrated wholes, using dialectical reasoning. Neither is superior. They're different tools suited to different problems. Understanding this cultural dimension reveals that thinking styles you consider natural or universal are actually culturally constructed. This recognition opens the possibility of deliberately cultivating alternative cognitive styles, expanding your mental flexibility. Language shapes thought in subtle but significant ways. The Sapir-Whorf hypothesis, in its strong form claiming that language determines thought, is too extreme. But linguistic relativity, the idea that language influences thought, has empirical support. Languages that grammatically mark future events differently correlate with different savings behaviors. Languages with multiple words for colors influence color perception. Learning additional languages doesn't just enable communication, it provides new conceptual frameworks, new ways of carving up experience. Bilingual individuals show enhanced cognitive flexibility, better able to shift perspectives and solve problems requiring mental reorientation. Even if you don't achieve fluency, studying different languages exposes you to alternative ways of structuring thought. The quantum leap in mental agility comes when practices become integrated into your identity and lifestyle, rather than remaining isolated techniques you occasionally apply. This is the difference between knowing what to do and becoming someone who naturally thinks this way. Identity-based change is more powerful and sustainable than outcome-based or process-based change. Instead of "I want to think more clearly," adopt the identity, "I am a clear thinker." Instead of "I should practice focus," embody "I am a focused person." This might seem like semantic games, but identity shapes behavior powerfully. Every action becomes a vote for the type of person you're becoming. Each time you practice focused attention, you reinforce the identity of a focused person. Over time, the practices become effortless expressions of who you are, rather than disciplines you force yourself to maintain. Environmental design is identity architecture. Your environment either supports or undermines the identity you're cultivating. If you want to be a deep thinker, create an environment conducive to deep thought, quiet space, minimal distractions, inspiring materials. If you want to be a creative person, surround yourself with diverse stimuli, creative tools, and examples of creativity. If you want to be a learning-oriented person, make learning materials easily accessible and consumption distractions difficult to access. Don't rely on willpower to overcome environmental friction. Engineer your environment so that the behaviors aligned with your desired identity are the path of least resistance. Social environment shapes identity powerfully. You become like the people you spend time with. Their thinking patterns, values, and behaviors gradually become yours through social learning and conformity pressure. This isn't weakness, it's how humans are wired. We're fundamentally social beings who calibrate ourselves to our group. Use this tendency strategically. Seek out people who embody the cognitive qualities you want to develop. Join communities of learners, thinkers, creators. Distance yourself from people who reinforce patterns you're trying to transcend. This isn't about judgment or superiority. It's about recognizing that your social environment powerfully influences your development and choosing that environment deliberately. Mastery is a lifelong journey, not a destination. No one ever fully masters thinking. There's no point at which you've learned everything, achieved perfect cognitive performance, and can coast on your abilities. The mind, like the body, requires continuous training to maintain and improve. But this isn't a burden, it's an opportunity. The joy lies in the process of growth, in discovering new capabilities, in solving increasingly complex problems. Mastery orientation means focusing on progress rather than perfection, on learning rather than performance, on the intrinsic satisfaction of development rather than external validation. The beginner's mind is crucial even for advanced practitioners. Shoshin, the Zen concept of beginner's mind, means approaching situations with openness and lack of preconceptions, even when you're highly experienced. Expertise brings knowledge and skill, but it also brings fixed patterns and assumptions. The beginner's mind balances expertise with fresh perspective. It allows you to see what your expertise might blind you to. Cultivate beginner's mind by regularly entering domains where you're a novice. Take up new skills, study unfamiliar subjects, engage with people who think differently than you. This keeps your thinking flexible and prevents the crystallization that can accompany expertise. Teaching is one of the most powerful ways to deepen your own understanding and develop mental agility. When you teach, you must organize knowledge coherently, anticipate questions and objections, explain concepts from multiple angles, and adapt to the learner's level. This demands flexibility, clarity, and deep understanding. Find opportunities to teach what you're learning. Write about it, explain it to friends, create tutorials, mentor others. The teaching process will reveal gaps in your understanding and force you to think more rigorously. Teaching isn't just sharing knowledge, it's a powerful learning tool for the teacher. Documentation of your learning journey creates a compound learning effect. Keep a learning journal where you record insights, connections, questions, and reflections. This serves multiple purposes. The act of writing consolidates learning. The journal becomes an external memory bank. You can review and build upon. Patterns emerge over time that aren't visible in individual entries. Years later, you can see your intellectual development, which is both satisfying and instructive. Your documentation doesn't need to be formal or polished. Brief notes, sketches, questions, whatever captures your thinking provide value. The key is consistency. Regular documentation builds a rich record of your cognitive journey. Failure is essential for developing mental agility. Every failure contains information about reality, about your understanding, about what works and what doesn't, but only if you extract that information through reflection. Failure without reflection is just repeated failure. Failure with reflection is education. Develop a systematic approach to learning from failures. What was I trying to achieve? What did I expect to happen? What actually happened? Why was my expectation wrong? What does this tell me about reality or my understanding? What will I do differently next time? This structured reflection transforms failure from discouragement into data. The most mentally agile people have failed more than most people have tried. They've just extracted maximum learning from each failure. Uncertainty is the natural state of complex systems. Complete certainty is only possible in closed, simple systems, and those aren't representative of the real world. Developing comfort with uncertainty is essential for mental agility. This doesn't mean being wishy-washy or unable to commit. It means holding beliefs with appropriate confidence levels, updating beliefs when new evidence arrives, and making decisions despite incomplete information. Bayesian thinking provides a framework for reasoning under uncertainty. Start with prior probabilities, your initial assessment of likelihood. Update those probabilities as new evidence arrives. Strong evidence produces large updates. Weak evidence produces small updates. Think in probability distributions rather than binary true-false. This probabilistic thinking matches the uncertain nature of reality better than rigid certainty. Anti-fragility, a concept developed by Nassim Taleb, describes systems that benefit from stress, volatility, and disorder. Fragile systems break under stress. Robust systems resist stress. Anti-fragile systems grow stronger from stress. Your mind can be anti-fragile. Challenges, setbacks, and difficulties can make you mentally stronger if you approach them correctly. The key is exposure to manageable stress with adequate recovery. Too little stress leads to stagnation and fragility. Too much stress without recovery leads to breakdown. The right amount of challenge stimulates growth. This is hormesis, the beneficial response to low doses of stress. Apply this principle deliberately. Seek challenges slightly beyond your current capacity. Embrace difficulty as growth stimulus. Allow adequate recovery. Your mind becomes anti-fragile, growing stronger through challenge rather than being depleted by it. The flow state represents peak mental performance and satisfaction. Flow occurs when challenge and skill are balanced at a high level, when attention is fully absorbed in the activity, when self-consciousness disappears, when time seems to distort, when action and awareness merge. In flow, performance exceeds normal levels, and the experience is intrinsically rewarding. Understanding flow conditions allows you to engineer them. Clear goals provide direction. Immediate feedback allows real-time adjustment. Challenge slightly exceeds skill, creating engagement without frustration or boredom. Distractions are minimized. These conditions don't guarantee flow, but they make it far more likely. Structure your cognitive work to include these elements. Over time, you'll enter flow states more frequently and reliably. Deep work, Cal Newport's term for focused, undistracted cognitive effort on demanding tasks, is increasingly rare and increasingly valuable. Most modern work is shallow: email, meetings, administrative tasks that don't require sustained cognitive effort or produce significant value. Deep work creates disproportionate value and develops expertise faster than shallow work. But deep work is difficult. It's cognitively demanding, often uncomfortable, and easy to avoid, in favor of shallow, busy work that provides immediate but trivial satisfactions. Developing deep work capacity requires scheduling, protecting that time aggressively, building focus endurance gradually, and creating rituals that signal to your brain that deep work is beginning. Track your deep work hours. Most knowledge workers manage only 1 to 3 hours of genuine deep work per day, even when they spend 8 or more hours working. Simply becoming aware of this gap is motivating. Gradually increase your deep work capacity. 4 to 6 hours of deep work per day, consistently applied, produces extraordinary results. The paradox of mental effort is that tasks requiring genuine cognitive exertion often feel less productive than busy work. Shallow tasks provide visible outputs: emails sent, items checked off, meetings attended. Deep thinking produces invisible cognitive work, understanding, connections, insights, that only becomes visible later when applied. This creates a psychological challenge. Your brain associates effort with frustration and seeks easier alternatives. You must push through this discomfort to access deep cognitive engagement. The discomfort doesn't mean you're doing it wrong. It means you're working at the edge of your capacity, which is exactly where growth occurs. With practice, you build tolerance for cognitive effort and even begin to seek it out, recognizing it as the gateway to meaningful work. Cognitive energy management is as important as time management. You have limited cognitive energy each day. Demanding tasks deplete this energy faster than routine tasks. Energy depletes throughout the day. Though not linearly, most people experience peaks and troughs based on circadian rhythms. Manage energy by scheduling your most important, demanding cognitive work during your peak energy periods. For many people, this is morning, though chronotypes vary. Protect these high energy periods for deep work. Use lower energy periods for shallow work that must be done but doesn't require peak cognition. Rest and recovery restore cognitive energy. Strategic breaks, movement, naps, and evening disengagement allow you to sustain higher performance over time than continuous pushing without recovery. The compounding effect of small improvements produces dramatic long-term results. A 1% improvement daily leads to nearly 38 times improvement over a year through compound growth. This mathematical reality has profound implications for skill development. You don't need dramatic breakthroughs, you need consistent incremental improvement. Small daily practices, sustained over months and years, produce mastery. The challenge is that incremental improvement is invisible in the short term. You practice focus for a week and see no difference. You read actively for a month and don't feel smarter, but continue for months and years, and the compound effect becomes undeniable. Trust the process. Small, consistent actions, aligned with your development goals, inevitably produce transformation. The plateau phase of learning is where most people quit. Initial learning produces rapid, visible progress. The beginner gains explode from knowing nothing to basic competence. This is motivating and satisfying, but then progress slows. The intermediate phase requires more effort for smaller, visible gains. This is the plateau, and it's when most people conclude they've reached their limit or lose motivation. But the plateau isn't a ceiling, it's a launching pad. Continued practice during plateaus consolidates skills, allowing breakthrough to the next level. The plateau is where expertise is forged. Understanding this prevents premature quitting. When progress slows, don't interpret it as evidence you've maximized your potential. Recognize it as a normal phase of development and maintain consistent practice. The breakthrough will come. Mental models about learning itself profoundly influence learning outcomes. If you believe ability is fixed, you avoid challenges that might reveal limitations. If you believe ability grows through effort, you seek challenges as opportunities. If you believe learning should feel easy, you interpret difficulty as evidence you're not capable. If you believe learning requires struggle, you interpret difficulty as evidence of productive effort. If you believe mistakes indicate failure, you avoid risks and hide errors. If you believe mistakes are learning opportunities, you take risks and examine errors closely. Your meta-beliefs about learning shape your learning behaviors, which shape your outcomes. Adopt empowering learning beliefs. Ability is malleable. Effort produces growth. Difficulty indicates learning. Mistakes provide information. Persistence leads to mastery. The role of emotion in cognition is bidirectional. Emotions influence thinking. Anxiety narrows attention. Joy broadens it. Anger biases toward action. But thinking also influences emotion. How you interpret situations determines emotional response. Cognitive strategies can regulate emotions. Directed attention shapes emotional experience. This bidirectional relationship means you can intervene from either side. When emotions are interfering with thinking, use cognitive strategies to regulate them. When thinking patterns are generating unhelpful emotions, change how you think about the situation. Neither direction is superior. Both are tools in your mental agility toolkit. Cognitive flexibility in emotion regulation means having multiple strategies and knowing when to use each. Sometimes distraction is the right strategy. Shift attention away from emotion-inducing stimuli. Sometimes reappraisal works better. Reinterpret the situation in a less distressing way. Sometimes acceptance is optimal. Allow the emotion without trying to change it, recognizing it will pass. Sometimes expression is appropriate. Communicate the emotion constructively. No single strategy works for all situations. Flexibility means assessing the situation and selecting the strategy most likely to be effective. This requires both knowing multiple strategies and developing metacognitive awareness to recognize what the situation demands. Values provide direction for mental development. You could develop your cognitive abilities in infinite directions. Which should you prioritize? The answer depends on your values. What matters to you, what you want to contribute, what kind of life you want to live. Values aren't goals, Goals are specific outcomes you want to achieve. Values are directions you want to move toward. You can achieve a goal and check it off. You can never finish living according to values. They're ongoing commitments. Clarify your values and let them guide your cognitive development. If you value creativity, prioritize developing creative thinking. If you value wisdom, focus on judgment and perspective. If you value connection, develop social cognition and empathy. Values-aligned development is more sustainable and satisfying than pursuing abilities because they seem impressive or valuable to others. The integration of all these principles and practices creates a lifestyle of continuous cognitive growth. Mental agility isn't something you achieve once and maintain effortlessly. It requires ongoing practice, just like physical fitness. But unlike physical fitness, which eventually declines with age regardless of effort, cognitive abilities can be maintained and even enhanced throughout life with appropriate training. The brain retains plasticity into old age. Older adults who remain cognitively active show brain structure and performance comparable to younger adults. The key is continuous engagement, learning, and challenge. Your mind is your most valuable asset. It determines how you perceive reality, what problems you can solve, what you can create, how you connect with others, the quality of your decisions, the richness of your experience. Everything you accomplish flows through the filter of your cognitive abilities. Yet most people invest more effort in their physical appearance, their car, their home, than in developing their mind. This is backwards. Your mind is the tool you use to navigate every moment of life. Sharpening this tool, expanding its capabilities, maintaining its health, this is the highest leverage activity possible. The future belongs to those with mental agility. As artificial intelligence automates routine cognitive work, human comparative advantage increasingly lies in flexible thinking, creativity, wisdom, and the ability to navigate ambiguity and complexity. The cognitive patterns that worked in previous eras, memorizing information, following procedures, executing well-defined tasks, become less valuable as machines master these domains. The uniquely human capabilities, those we've explored throughout this exploration, become increasingly crucial. The mental agility you develop isn't just personal enhancement, it's professional adaptation to a rapidly changing world. The journey of cognitive development is infinite. There's no point where you've learned enough, where you can stop growing, where you've maximized your abilities. This might seem daunting, but it's actually liberating. You're never done. There's always another level, another dimension, another capability to develop. This means every stage of life offers opportunities for growth. The plasticity of your mind means you're never trapped by your current patterns. Change is always possible. Growth is always available. The only question is whether you'll engage in the practices that enable it. Begin where you are. You don't need perfect conditions, extensive preparation, or dramatic life changes to start developing mental agility. Start with one practice. Maybe it's 5 minutes of focus training daily. Maybe it's reading actively instead of passively. Maybe it's keeping a thinking journal. Choose one small practice aligned with where you want to develop. Do it consistently. When it becomes habit, add another practice. Layer practices over time. This gradual accumulation creates transformation without overwhelming you. Remember that developing mental agility is inherently rewarding. Yes, it produces better outcomes, better decisions, better work, better problem solving. But beyond instrumental benefits, the experience of thinking well is satisfying in itself. The flow state of complete engagement, the insight that suddenly illuminates a problem, the creative connection between seemingly unrelated ideas, the clarity of understanding something deeply, these experiences are intrinsically valuable. You're not just developing your mind as a tool for external achievement. You're enhancing your moment-to-moment experience of being conscious, of thinking, of engaging with reality. This is worthwhile independent of any other benefits it produces. The art of mental agility is about becoming fully human, fully alive, fully engaged with the profound gift of consciousness. You possess this extraordinarily complex biological supercomputer, capable of understanding the cosmos, creating beauty, solving problems, connecting with others, experiencing the full spectrum of human thought and emotion. To leave this capacity undeveloped, to drift through life using only the automatic patterns established by accident and environment, is to waste the most precious resource you have. To deliberately train your mind, to expand its capabilities, to push toward the edges of what you can think and understand and create. This is to honor the remarkable nature of consciousness itself. Every moment is an opportunity to think better. Every challenge is a chance to expand your cognitive range. Every interaction is practice in perspective-taking and communication. Every problem is training in analysis and creativity. Every decision is practice in judgment. Life itself is the gymnasium where mental agility is developed. You don't need to set aside special time, though dedicated practice accelerates growth. Simply approach your daily life with intentionality, awareness, and commitment to thinking well. This transforms routine existence into continuous cognitive development. The compounding effects of years of deliberate cognitive development are difficult to imagine from the beginning. But look at anyone you admire for their thinking. The wise elder, the creative genius, the clear-minded leader, the innovative scientist. They weren't born with fully developed capabilities. They've spent years, often decades, deliberately cultivating their minds. The capabilities that seem like natural gifts are usually the results of sustained practice. What they've done, you can do. Not exactly the same. Your path will reflect your unique interests, values, and circumstances. But the principle holds: sustained, deliberate practice produces expertise. Applied to thinking itself, it produces mental agility. Your potential is vastly greater than your current performance. This isn't motivational fluff, it's neurological fact. You're using a tiny fraction of your brain's potential. The neural connections you could form, the patterns you could recognize, the insights you could generate, the problems you could solve, these vastly exceed what you've accessed so far. This should be simultaneously humbling and exciting. Humbling because it reveals how far you could develop. Exciting because it means extraordinary growth is possible. You're nowhere near your cognitive limits. Every human throughout history has died with tremendous unrealized potential. But you don't have to leave as much potential unrealized. You can develop further, grow more, think better. The only question is whether you will. The choice is yours. Everything we've explored, the principles, the practices, the frameworks, the techniques, these are available to you. They require no special equipment, no expensive programs, no rare circumstances. They require only decision and discipline. The decision to prioritize cognitive development. The discipline to maintain practices even when progress is invisible, even when other demands compete for attention, even when it would be easier to coast on current abilities. This choice, renewed daily through action, determines your cognitive trajectory. Think faster by eliminating mental friction, building pattern libraries, and developing decision frameworks. Think smarter by expanding working memory, cultivating mental models, and developing abstract reasoning. Think stronger by training attention, building cognitive endurance, and developing emotional regulation. Integrate these dimensions through metacognition, flexible strategy selection, and continuous learning. Make it sustainable through identity-based change, environmental design, and values alignment. Do this consistently over years, and you'll develop mental agility that would have seemed impossible from your starting point. The art of mental agility is the art of becoming more fully yourself, more capable of engaging with reality, more able to create, contribute, connect, and experience richly. It's the art of honoring consciousness by developing it to higher and higher levels. It's the art of living deliberately rather than automatically, of shaping your mind rather than being shaped by default patterns. This art is available to anyone willing to practice it. The question isn't whether you can develop mental agility. The question is whether you will. The answer begins with your next thought, your next choice, your next moment of deliberate practice. Think faster, smarter, stronger. Your mind is waiting for you to unlock its potential.